Hello, welcome to Cornwolf Gaming, and this video is all about F1 2022, what we know so far and ready for the launch later in June. So there's quite a few details that we're going to go through in this video. I was lucky enough a few weeks back to get a hands-on preview of the game and also went to a little bit of a press event virtually just to learn a bit more about the game. So I'm just going to talk through everything that I've learned, understood, bits of info, and we'll go from there just as always. So we'll start with the big one, the launch date. So if you're getting the deluxe edition, it's the 28th of June, so just a few weeks away, and then you've just got to wait a couple of days after that for the standard edition, which is the 1st of July. I'm not too sure at this time what time the EA Access preview, so for anybody that's on Xbox and PC that have the that bundled in with your Xbox account now, with your Game Pass account or whatever they're calling it, you will get a preview of this with it being an EA game now. I'm just not 100% sure when that will unlock and how long you get. It does vary on game to game, probably about 8 hours or so, something like that, but again it does vary. When I know more, I'll let you know. They've doubled down on the track experience this time, so they've updated the mechanics and the presentation, which we'll get to a few details about that, but they've updated a lot of the mechanics because the cars have changed, and they want to keep improving how they handle, and these cars do handle different from previous cars. Obviously, as we know, for anybody that's been watching F1, there's been a significant change technically with the cars, and obviously that is represented in the game. So they've improved the handling as well, a significant improvement. So it also comes to the aero suspension and I don't know if it's a new tyre model or just revamped tyre model, but they've updated that as well. The one thing that isn't going to be in this game, and it's because we asked the question, but it's because they didn't know it was going to be different, or it's going to happen, should I say, is the porpoising. There's no porpoising in this game, which probably make a lot of you happy because it won't make you feel sick if you're playing the game and rattle your fillings out and stuff. But what they said when we asked the question was basically because they didn't know it was going to come into the game, or at least going to happen to the cars. They didn't have a way of replicating it in it, and obviously a lot of the teams are starting to get on top of that now as well. Whether it will come at a later date, I do not know. They didn't say, but for the time being it's not there. There are now official sprint weekends in My Career and My Team, so when you go through the career mode and different things, there are proper sprint weekends like we are having this year. I think there's 4 this year, so you can have that. There are also some new commentators, on-screen talent and things like that, so you've got Alex Jack, Natalie Pinkman and Jack Villeneuve, amongst other people, that you can also select as alternate commentators, so you don't have to just listen to the same guys over and over again. So if you did want to change that up, you can have that. And the previous engineer unfortunately is gone. Pour one out for your homies. So we've now got a new engineer, and he is Mark Presley, or nicknamed Presley, or Elvis I think his nickname is, who's an ex-McLaren racing engineer. And they've done this because they wanted a little bit more authenticity to the game, and it's also been done via an F1 official headset, the way they've recorded it and different things. So his reactions, the way you're telling him, the way he's telling you how to do things and whatnot, is a little bit more authentic compared to what it was before. Not that it ever really bothered me. I think his name was Jeff, wasn't it? But yeah, so he's been replaced now with Mark Presley, which is lovely. Race days have also been refined, so there's now a formation lap which you can drive into like an AR grid slot, but also there's a broadcast option, and this is going to crop up a couple of times throughout some of this, but basically throughout the game I'll let you know when it crops up within my notes. But the race days, so like the formation lap, they've now got this broadcast option, so if you don't want to drive to the grid but you want to still get the feel for a weekend and things like that, then you can basically press a button or say that you want to experience it but you don't want to physically do it yourself, and then there's that option now, and it's basically giving more accessibility to people that want to race but aren't bothered about going around to the grid, but it would be nice to see, or you can grab a cup of tea while it's on, and that kind of thing. So they're adding those little bits in for the formation lap. Pit stops have also been changed as well. Now I didn't get a chance to test this myself because I was more bothered about driving the cars, and I did a little bit of footage for Miami and stuff, but the pit stops are now kind of timed. There's now a sweet spot for for when you need to turn in to the pits. Again, I think this is something that can be turned off, but it's like a little mini game, not as mini as we've had before, where you have to press buttons at certain times and things like that. But you have a time where you have to turn into the pits, and if you do it too early or too late, your pit crew may make mistakes because you're either overshooting or undershooting your pit entry and then getting into your box. So that's a new thing that they've added to this as well. And the safety car, if and when it does come out again, if you don't want to sit behind it, this is where the broadcast option comes in, and you can either go into broadcast and it will just, the AI will take over and keep you going and then jump you back in, or you can sit behind the safety car. Entirely up to you, but just something else. So anybody that wants the die-hard feel can have the die-hard feel, and anybody that wants a little bit more of a casual experience, wants to do the racing but not bothered about the other bits, again, you can do that yourself. The AI has been tweaked, so you can now have it's basically super harsh or a nice laid back setting. They've changed that quite a bit, so it actually adapts a bit better to your driving style and what you want out of the game. There are quite a lot of people that enjoy F1 but don't have the luxury of a wheel or the time and effort to sit and do it properly on a pad, or maybe they have got a wheel but they haven't got time to get it out, so you can adapt it so it's a bit more fun for you to drive, so you can still drive it and play the game and things, but you don't have to be super hardcore into it sim racer if you don't want to be. But then obviously for those of us that want to do that, the options are there. The department events have now been expanded in My Career, or Career and My Team, so yeah, there's a lot more for you to do there, and they've adapted those quite a bit. And the narrative between races has also been let's say implemented, but topics and threads will now follow you on from race to race, which is quite nice. So if you've said a certain thing, this is just me presuming, but let's say you've said something about aero, as you go through you may get another question a race or two later to say, did the team have a look at the aero, have you changed it, have you managed to adapt it, things like that. If you've made certain remarks, I don't know if it's specific ones or if it is things like that, I'm not 100% sure, but there is a little bit of narrative that will follow you around from race to race in career mode. There's now better customizations for painting. When I say better, it's a little bit loose. I didn't have the opportunity to go into this and try it, but you can now change basically the paint types, but I don't know if they've upped anything else. If it is literally just changing it from gloss, satin, matte, metallic, yeah, it's better. You might be able to get some better designs, but we need a proper painting thing. Let the guys out there, there's some amazing painters that can do incredible things with squares and circles and lines and such like, that I've seen in Forza and other painting games that that have that in. So let them have at it, but I don't know if there's anything else. But if it is just that, a little bit disappointing, but at least they are looking into it. We've also had updates on circuits. So now they've got the updates for Australia, which we've already seen in Spain, and then Abu Dhabi. They've all had those changes in them. So for Australia, that's had quite a significant change. Quite a few of the corners have been widened profiling and different things like that. Spain, obviously, what was the hairpin is now a slightly wider flowing corner. And then in Abu Dhabi, again, I think they've taken out some of that hairpin or one of the chicanes or something like that, so again, to make it more free flowing, so we can now race those in the game. VR is coming. At the minute it's only PC that is doing that, and there'll be a list of compatible headsets just before release. Don't know if we're getting this for PSVR 2 or not. However, we've not had a release date for PSVR 2. I think a lot of people are expecting it to be this year. I think it might be next year, so we might not see it on PlayStation unless they do it for the original one. Don't know, but we may not see it on PlayStation until probably next year, depending on when that headset is released. Was hoping we'd have seen something recently in the state of play, but there was a lot of games for it that are coming out, but no word on when the actual headset's coming out. And it's the same team that have done the Dirt Rally VR as well, so that you've got a good team behind that. There's a couple of new things coming up now. So we've got F1 Life, which is basically your home hub for the game, and this is where you'll go into your multiplayer lobby and things like that, but it's like a house, room, flat, condo, whatever you want to call it. There's got a bit of a garage built into it, and here you can change the designs, put different carpets down, put all your trophies up and different things like that. So that's a nice little thing. You've got a nice little lobby to go into now. And then also This is quite exciting. One of the biggest new features that they've added is the fact that you can now drive some of the supercars on hot laps. So like the Pirelli hot laps is the influence from here, but you can drive some of the supercars from the manufacturers that have specific cars like that. So obviously AlphaTauri don't have an AlphaTauri car out there or a supercar out there, but you will be able to drive Aston Martins, Mercedes and McLarens and things like that. I'm not sure, you know, if we are getting any kind of a Honda Type R supercar or anything like that, or the NSX or anything, I don't know, but definitely we'll be seeing ones from them. And you can also drive the safety car as well, and from what I gather these will be part of the events that will also happen throughout your career mode as well. So I don't know whether you'll take someone from the press out in it or whatever, don't know, or it might just be an event for sponsors and things, and you just go and drive some hot laps. I'm not sure, but you can do that as well. You can't race the cars head on with people, but I don't know if there'll be a timetable, but you can go and drive those cars about. Don't know anything more if we can tune them or anything, but you know, it's good that they're adding those in. It's quite exciting to do that into this game. The PS5 controller's also been updated, so I didn't think it was too bad for the 2021 version of the game, but for 2022, obviously back then it was fairly new, especially when they were developing the game, but now they've gone to the haptic feedback a bit more and it works a lot better. Again, didn't think it was too bad before, but they've refined that for the PS5. 2-player careers back, so you can do that, and there's no breaking point this year. So they were telling us that there's about a 2-year cycle for development, if you like, to get this through and get all the story through and get it all recorded and everything. So there's no breaking point this year. Some people might be upset about that, some people might not, but they did say it may return. Like I say, there's quite a long development cycle for that. And then finally, the last bit of information on here is the fact that there is crossplay, but it won't be coming until post-launch. Don't know when that will be, but finally they are looking at and adding in some crossplay. So that's all the information that I have from the F1 2022. Really looking forward to it. I've had hands-on and it is tough to drive. It's different compared to the previous years, but again, it looks amazing. They've added in different bits. Looking forward to doing some of those Pirelli hot laps in the various cars and see what happens. So stay tuned, guys. If you found this video informative, smash that thumbs up button, hit subscribe, chuck some comments below, let me know what you're waiting for, and until next time, I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.